Hi, welcome to Pursuing the Pulse. I'm Mark McCarthy. I'm here with Jon Ewert and McKenna Mezzano with Resolution Medical. We're part of the manufacturing division. Welcome, guys.
Well, thanks, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Before we get started, how about you just tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, I'm Jon Ewert. I am the COO of Resolution Medical, and I have been here for 9.5 years.
Awesome. Like Mark said, my name is McKenna Mezzano, operations manager at Resolution, and been here for 6.5 years.
Great. Let's get started. What capabilities does Resolution Medical bring to the table when it comes to manufacturing?
You know, we're a very engineering-forward company with over 150 engineers and technicians, and with that allows us to really focus on critical problems, solving critical problems, and focusing on the end being in mind. And so our capabilities here really revolve around highly complex products and bringing those products to market, and then being able to ramp those products into commercial volumes.
Fantastic. How do in-house capabilities versus outsourcing affect quality, speed, and scalability in manufacturing?
Yeah, I would say to start with quality and speed, that the in-house capabilities, the biggest thing it gives us is control. So we have the control for quality at the source, and then speed, when we can work with a department within Resolution Medical for a molded component or a laser cut component, it allows us to have that control within our four walls versus relying on an outside vendor. And second part of the question, scalability, definitely has its challenges. That is something when you go from 100 to 1,000 to tens of thousands of units, that does have its obstacles. But I would say that's true for component manufacturing all the way through final packaging. And that's something as we scale, we learn something new all the time and can make improvements and changes along the way as we scale and ramp up production.
You mentioned these obstacles, and that brings me to think, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in optimizing manufacturing processes, and how do you tackle them?
Yeah, process optimization is one of those that has design-related aspects to it sometimes. Sometimes it's human interaction. It can be equipment interaction. And so our process that we utilize is the DFM process in early stage, whether it's a product transfer or it's a design that we're developing through our other system. And that DFM process, Design for Manufacturability, assesses all the different aspects from a problem statement. So it could be man, method, machine, equipment, environment. And as we break down those potential causes, that allows us to scale processes for trainability concerns, or it could be scrap-related issues that might be design-related. You could have a design-related scrap code that you need to discard product for. And so being able to optimize a process around something like that certainly helps to deliver the end result.
Sounds like you look for opportunities for improvement. And how do you approach continuous improvement on the shop floor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, our continuous improvement methodology really acts as an immune system within our business. We call this at Resolution the EKG meeting, so the heartbeat and the pulse of our day-to-day business. So we deploy a plan, do, check, and act system with an operator-focused opportunity card system. So what that looks like is boards both in our clean rooms and out in our non-clean room manufacturing environment, where operators have the opportunity to give continuous improvement suggestions to the engineering and management. So whether that's equipment related, safety or tooling or fixturing, any ideas under the sun, it gives them the opportunity to communicate with us and provide provide their thoughts of people that are actually working on the floor, and they have the opportunity to see many things that we don't, as we're not on the floor as frequent. So we complete those opportunity cards, and then we'll follow up with the operator. So it allows us to really have a bottoms-up approach. We're listening to the operators and then implementing those suggestions and ideas throughout our business.
The other part of continuous improvement is root cause problem solving. So there's a couple different methodologies that we use. We have an 8-step problem-solving methodology that we go through that is for your medium complex problems. And then if we have a more statistically based or more challenging problem, we'll go into a DMAIC process for that root cause problem solving.
Fantastic. Can you share an example where process optimization resulted in significantly efficiency and gains or cost savings?
Yeah, love to. We had a product line that we transferred in last year that had been commercially manufactured for over 9 years. And at that time of transfer, it was the same, no design changes. That supplier that was building that product was building 37 units a day on first shift. And with our continuous improvement methodology, with the few things that Jon and I mentioned, but along with standard work, Kaizen events, value stream mapping, just to name a few, we were able to ramp up production from 37 units a day or 37 units a shift to 200 units a shift.
Wow, that's impressive. With medical device industry comes the requirement of clean rooms, right? So tell us about the clean rooms at Resolution Medical.
Yeah, we currently have 4 main clean rooms. 2 are ISO Class 7, and those rooms are split between 2 distinct rooms, one for catheters and one for IPGs, so implantable pulse generators. And then we also have a Class 7 ISO certified silicone oil room, as well as an ISO certified Class 8 room.
Beautiful. 3D printing has evolved significantly over the years. What do you see as key factors in driving its growth history?
Yeah, largely speed through design. And when you can 3D print something versus having to mold something, you're going to get a response much quicker. And so there are many instances where we utilize 3D printing instead of molding because we can iterate in days rather than months. And so certainly in the industry, a lot of what's come up is really the material science part of it. So the evolution in 3D printing is getting materials that are sterilizable and biocompatible. So those 3D printing components can be used in launching products, and then you can transition to a mold later when the volume is there.
Mm-hmm. Is there ever an opportunity where it would make sense to continue with 3D printing in production?
Yeah, absolutely. With lower volume products or maybe some smaller type components, it certainly would be advantageous to stay in 3D printing, to not have to do your capital investment in all of the tools, the molds, the validation work that comes with injection molding.
Now, some people might think that manufacturing is just manufacturing. I know you guys would disagree with that. But what are some of the most important things to take into consideration when looking for a partner with Resolution Medical?
Really, how consistent can they deliver results? What is the control within their facility? And how do their systems interact with their production floor? At Resolution Medical, we focus on control and we focus on the consistency that our business runs with. And that is all the way from our quality systems, so our EQMS, into our ERP system, where we manage all of our materials, through our EMES system, where our paperless manufacturing on our production floor is center stage. That gives us data at our fingertips. It's all real-time data. It's visual factory. We know where every component is in any lot being produced on the production floor, who's interacting with those lots. And so really, from a predictable standpoint, you can't get much more predictable than data that you have seconds after something is produced. Being able to look at trends and predict where that production line might be going from a performance perspective.
And I would say, too, that predictability allows us to better partner with our customers. When we are at the point where we're predicting how business is performing or their product line is performing, that allows us to stay ahead of communication with each of the customers we partner with.
And based on your experiences in manufacturing, what emerging trends do you think will have the biggest impact of the industry in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, the latest buzz out there is AI. And although I certainly agree that AI has a huge place in medical device, not just in the device, but in the manufacturing of it, really where we're leveraging AI most is data management or data analysis. So taking massive amounts of data and being able to crunch that data and spit it out into something that is palatable, something that you can actually assess in a timely manner to give quicker decisions to the production floor or to our engineering team.
Fantastic. One final question. How is Resolution Medical different from other organizations?
So I touched on this a little bit earlier with my answer regarding the partnership with our customers. But I think two of the biggest things that set Resolution apart is our transparency and our communication with our customers. We behave as though we are a true extension of their business. And with decades of experience sitting in our customer seats, we understand the hurdles and opportunities of outsourcing manufacturing. And to ease that, we really our goal is to partner with them every step of the way. In addition to communication and transparency, I would say the strength of our engineering staff. We have tons of experience and the tenured experience in the engineering and professional staff, which is really unique at a CDMO. And I would say that's something really important that sets Resolution apart.
Ultimately, what that allows us to do is control risk. And every day we work on products that have risk inherent in them. And whether that's patient risk or business risk, our tenure and our experience really helps to mitigate a lot of that risk that we see on a day-to-day basis, whether that's in our systems, on our production floor, or within our engineering ranks.
Oh, great. Well, I want to thank the both of you for joining me today and providing our audience a little insight into the manufacturing world of Resolution Medical.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.